I'm so tired of that dialogue where we come and say, but maybe Indian ho, like, I don't, no one says that in real life. We're written in such a way that, that we're just facing racism every day and everything is just about our race and our identity. I know we are way beyond that.
What changes would you like to see in the industry to create a more equal and empowering space for women?
Everything just stems down to just one thing, and that's respect.
What was the perception when you were watching cinema?
The first Bollywood film I ever watched was Khun Barima. I love that movie. Rekha, crocodile bites her. She gets plastic surgery. She kills Kabir Bedi. She comes on a horse. She has a gun in her hand. She's just shooting and killing people. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, wow.
Was there a moment during your journey when, there was a total breakdown and you had to pull your shit together and be like, no, I cannot give up now. This is my moment.
There have been lots of breakdowns. it's a common thing. It's so important to have like strong female friendships. It's you need that support system, especially in a city like Bombay.
She's an actor, writer, and comedian, and she's breaking barriers. I'm being joined by Merenla Imsong. Hi, Merenla. Thank you so much for joining the Indian Express. And thank you for being a part of the Express conversations for the Women's Day, where we are speaking to all the women achievers across industries. Merenla, I remember you from Paatal Lok, and whoever is watching it, you would remember her from Paatal Lok for playing the character of Rose Lizzo. Merenla, can you first tell our viewers about how was it playing the character in Paatal Lok? And in one of your interviews, I remember reading that your mother was completely shocked after watching you. So tell us about what really transpired.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. This is really exciting. Yes, I played the character of Rose Lisa on Paatal Lok. I had a wonderful time shooting for that show. My mother, by the end of watching the show, had her BP had just shot up, and she was extremely stressed. She was terrified of Prashant Tamang, who plays Daniel, and I had to comfort her, and I had to tell her that he is the softest. He's like the safest person you can be around. He won't even hurt a fly. That's how he is. And somehow she just could not visualize that at all. But she said she loved it, but it really stressed her out.
But did you love the character? What really stood out for you when you were reading about the character, when you got the script in your hand? What was it like living that character?
The fact that she was written with so much empathy, and that's first of all, it's such a brilliantly written script, and if you meet the writer, Sudeep Sharma, you will understand why he gives so much depth and nuance to all his characters. There's so much. It was written. It was written. It was a character written with love, and what I loved about her is how she was a victim of a lot of circumstances, but then she did not want to be victimized. She just wanted to crawl out of whatever situation she was in. And she did it all for love, for the love of her child, for envisioning a future with her child. And I just thought that was so beautiful.
Absolutely. And storytelling is
Mm,
crucial for women and marginalized characters because it gives them the voice and it challenges the stereotypes. For someone
mm,
who is a woman and a woman who belongs to the Northeast, how was
mm,
it playing this character? Because we know that in the mainstream cinema, Bollywood has absolutely, they have stereotyped how North
mm,
people they look, the
mm,
representation in cinema, it's completely skewed. And
mm,
it is one of the challenges. What
mm.
exactly was your journey like, so far? Good, bad, or it's just going fine?
Um, it has been a tough journey. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, when I first came to Mumbai, I thought I was just eligible to go and audition for anything that fit in my age range because that's how it's supposed to be. Then I realized that there's a separate category for people like me, and then I realized that um, if you don't fit into the stereotype of what a hero or a heroine is supposed to look like, then you just end up playing the side characters. You fit into these little boxes that are out there for you. If you're chubby, you play the best friend. If you're dark, you play a poor person. And I belong to the category called the northeastern face. And a lot of times you just know when you're the diversity hire, which happens in a lot of ads when they're trying to show like inclusivity, which is happening a lot these days. But chalo, it's still in one direction. At least they're taking notes. But then when there's going to be hiccups when it starts. There's going to be you know because what happens is our identity is then used as a crutch. Like if you um when
That
people
was
write about
that was
no,
how
no, but then
identity being used as
but
a crutch. Because
yeah,
is that true? I mean, what was
no.
so unique about your challenge as someone who's from the Northeast? Because, like you said, it's more
Mm,
about showing that you are being inclusive, and
mm,
that's
mm. It's tough because you read the script and you're just like, oh, this is not exactly how it happens. But then but then you're like, okay, this is how they've written. So, but it has improved over the years. People are now consciously trying to be. Everyone remembers this one person that they knew in college, and then say, and then that person becomes the reference. And I remember working on this project that never released. And I remember the director just kept saying, yeah, because in college I had a friend. And the thing is, sometimes when you correct them and say, and they give you the name of that friend, you're like, okay, I know that name. That name sounds like it's from this community, and I am familiar with this community, so I think you might have the name wrong. And they get defensive. They're like, I remember very specifically this was the person's name. It becomes, your voice just gets silent. So the director's like, no, I know from 15 years ago this person. And then you're just like, you just give up. You don't want to argue with someone so stubborn, because you know that it's just a dead end. But over the years, things have changed. I remember when I first met the writer Sudeep Sharma of Paatal Lok. He asked me, "What do you think of the script? Is there anywhere where we have faltered?" And I was so shocked when he asked me that. And he's like, "Is there anywhere where you think we have not done a good job?" And I don't know what fumbled out of my mouth at that point of time, because it was such an out of syllabus
we're
question.
taken
You don't get
aback.
asked this.
You know,
Yeah, I was so
that
taken aback. Yeah. But yeah, and that's when I was like, okay, I am really fortunate to be working with a person like this, is what I realized that day. Yeah. I just knew I was in
there's
safe
a kind of
hands.
absolutely, and that shows that there's a kind
Mm.
of change that is taking place, although slowly. But
Yeah, yeah.
Merenla, according to you,
Mm,
what is it
mm.
that is going to disrupt this whole system in place? What is it that you see as working out for people who really want to be represented in the right manner?
I don't know about disruption in this industry, because in this world of trends, it's like something happens and we're talking about it for 5 days and then you forget about it, and no permanent change actually happens. Um, at the core of it all, we just want to play regular people. I, I'm I'm so tired of that dialogue where we come and say, but maybe Indian who, like, I don't, no one says that in real life. I'm so tired of that scene uh, where bad guy is harassing me for my race, and then good guy comes, mainland bad guy from mainland is harassing me for my race, good guy from mainland comes and rescues me. I'm like, no, I've had to fight my own personal battles. And this is, we're written in such a way that that we're just facing racism every day, and everything is just about our race and our identity. I know we are way beyond that. Yes, of course, that is our identity, but we are all, we can play characters that fall in love, that go and murder people and other stuff. So I think I just hope we start now getting cast as regular people.
What a beautiful
That's it.
that is a really beautiful thought. Uh, this year, the theme of the International Women's Day, Merenla, is accelerate action, and it
Mm,
means speeding up efforts for gender equality. What's one
mm.
change you believe needs urgent attention in the entertainment industry? And what changes would you like to see in the industry to create a more equal and empowering space for women, both in front of and behind the camera?
I think everything just stems down to just one thing, and that's respect. Just the moment you respect women, it will show in your craft. It will show in the way you write female characters. It will show in the way you frame them on your camera. The moment you stop making us tropes and making us caricatures and just make us characters on screen, like respect will fuel that. And a lot of people have this misguided sense like, oh no, but I respect women. I have never gone and touched a woman's ass, therefore I respect women. Like the bar is so low that you just say something like that. But in reality, a lot of people, a lot of, and I'm not saying all men, but in reality, like quite a few men, just respect their mothers, and every woman is just like, oh, but then and start judging and all of that. But the you just yeah, that bring respect brings empathy. Respect makes you understand the other side, and that has to be inculcated at a very young age. So all these changes that we're fighting for, you can't just bring them at the adult level of the workplace. It has to begin at home. It has to begin at the grassroots level. It has to be inculcated from a young age, because even we grew up thinking a lot of wrong things. I grew up in the generation where um, to be brave is to man up. To like a woman is weak, but a man is so strong. The term "man of the house" that's so empowering, but a woman is just a weakling. All of that needs to be. We have to be retrained not to think that way. And even I grew up believing those things until, as I gradually grew up, I realized that, oh wait, this is really problematic.
Absolutely. I was
And
actually going
yeah.
to my question, which was about you growing up watching movies, Hindi cinema, and
Mm,
now you are actually inside the industry. So
mm.
what is the difference that you see, and what was the perception when you were watching cinema? Uh, what was the perception that you had, and when you were trying to enter the industry, how was that, and how has it changed?
You know, this funny thing, I mean, which is still connected to some of the previous questions, is that when you ask me who my favorite characters on television are, I normally say male characters. And I used to think that, oh, it's because whatever, like, but then I now realize that's because it's not, it's because the male characters are written way better than the female characters. They're given way more attention. So it's not that the male actors are way better than the female actors. It's just you've given so much importance to the male characters. So now you just fall in love with their characters. Growing up, um, the first Bollywood film I ever watched was Khun Barima. And I loved
Rekha
that.
movie, right?
Rekha, yes, Rekha.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love that movie. Rekha, crocodile bites her. She gets plastic surgery. She kills Kabir Bedi. She comes on a horse. She has a gun in her hand. She's just shooting and killing people. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is so iconic. I was just like, I think I was like 6 or 7 years old, too young to be watching Rekha killing people. That film has also, yeah, and I was terrified of crocodiles after that. But
Yeah.
uh, I think when I was
You were
growing up, there were a
inspired
lot
by,
of,
hmm. You were
yeah, I mean,
inspired.
I was inspired. I was like, wow. It wasn't even like, I want to be on screen. It was like, I want to ride a horse like Rekha. that was the main thing for me. Like I want to like ride a horse with my hair just flying in the wind. That
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that was what I took away from the film. Also, crocodiles are very dangerous, is what I took away from the film. But when I was growing up, there were a lot of TV shows that I loved watching, which had such strong female characters. There was Xena Warrior Princess.
Mm.
My brother and I loved Xena Warrior Princess. Then there's this show called Alias, which had Jennifer Garner as a CIA agent, and she could do all these martial arts, and she would just go in disguises and go on all this conspiracy stuff happening and all of that. So there were a lot of female actually there were a lot of female action heroes that I looked up to when I was growing up. Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Linda Hamilton. There was, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger, but Linda Hamilton, her introduction, I just still remember she was doing pull-ups and all those muscles, and I was just like, wow, this is so cool. So, yeah, I mean, I'm so thankful to those shows and the films that I watched growing up because it just showed a lot of kick-ass, badass women.
Mm.
Yeah. But then as I grew older, I also started realizing, oh, wait, no, you have strong characters. I mean, strength doesn't just have to be brute strength, strength can come from within also. And then you start watching all these shows that are showing these um, really, really strong women, and then slowly you start realizing that, oh wait, women can be flawed as well. And like you watch a show like Fleabag, and this woman is just so completely out of her head, but you just feel so much for her. So it's just, I love the progression of what I was introduced to, from badass to strong women um, to these women who are flawed, and yet people are flawed, and I love that they showed it on camera, on screen. Yeah, I don't know if I answered your question. I just went on a
You
tangent.
did,
Yeah.
you did.
So,
It just also brings a lot of, I mean, I make notes for myself as well, and where I see that I did not have many characters for myself to look up to.
mm,
I would remember
mm,
a character who was a male character and not
yeah,
a female character. So
yeah,
it feels really good that now we see a lot of female characters as lead in a lot of
yes,
OTT, say on OTT or on the big screen. So there's
yeah.
definitely kind of change that's happening. What exactly do you think in the industry? Absolutely, respect is paramount.
Mm-hmm,
There's also
mm,
something like pay parity, which has become like a topic of debate. What do you have?
yeah, yeah. um I with I don't like I don't know exactly what to say about pay parity, because there's also the factor of, like, producers pay according to how popular an actor is.
Right.
They have so much of all of that. There is just, so, like, as much as you would wish for equality in payment based on someone's performance, it's never just about the performance. It's about how many people you can bring to fill up the seats. It's about how popular you are, and I don't think that's going to change.
That's not
You
good.
know that yeah, that's, I mean,
But we can look at
it.
meritocratic way of bringing in more people, say outsiders or somebody,
Mm,
say from the eastern side of India.
mm,
They would never think
yeah,
of getting a lead in a Bollywood,
yeah,
right? So how do you
yeah, yeah.
can change that, Merenla? It looks like a far-fetched dream for me, but
Mm.
how is it for you?
I remember a few years ago, not a few years ago, it must have been like 10 years ago. I was talking to this guy, and then he said, and he knew I was an actor, and he said, just give it 5 years, and suddenly the whole fascination with Northeastern faces is gonna blow up. but it will be like a fetishization, is what he said. And I remember after that, you see, in modeling campaigns, you see now a lot of Northeastern faces. Like that, it's become very popular. And like there are way more models from the Northeast than there were
Yeah.
10 years ago. Now there's so much more, and there's always, you just see one. And it's not just it's you're seeing Northeastern faces in bridal Indian lehengas also. It's such a refreshing change to see that. So I think it is going to be a task again. I mean, because
Right.
seeing us as models is different, but seeing us as actors is different, because as a model, you're just there, you're modeling the clothes. But as an actor, you have to have dialogues. That's a real character, that's a real person you're bringing to life. And that requires more dedication from an artistic point of view to bring them to life.
Absolutely.
And
Do you
I
remember?
do feel that,
Hmm.
sorry, what?
No, no, please go on. Go on.
I do feel that when people want to make stories about the Northeast, I do feel that the initial thought is like, okay, let me do my research, and then they do their research and they're like, oh shit, it is not as simple as I thought it would be. And then they do further research and they're like, okay, now it's getting too complicated, and that's how they end up just
Yeah.
putting us into one whole khichdi, because it's like, okay, for convenience sake, for a logistic purpose, let's just do this, which is what something Paatal Lok refused to compromise on.
Mhm.
And it took guts for them to pull this off, because no one, and what I love was the fact that they didn't do it to get praise, to be they didn't do it so that the makers didn't do it so that they could get the recognition from people and say like, oh, we're the first people to do this, oh,
It was
we
not
did this,
forced. Yeah.
yeah, it was just they were grateful to come to Nagaland and shoot. Like they had this gratefulness about them, and it was just love being reciprocated from their side and our side, and just fused together. And that's why when I talk about Paatal Lok season 2, I say this is a product of love. Everyone just put their heart into it. So
We are so thankful that we got to see you and we got to
thank you.
watch the show. Uh, all the young actors, female actors, looking at you, dreaming about being on the big screen or making it to one of the OTT series, in
Mm,
order to accelerate that action in the
mm,
world of cinema, what is that one
mm.
thing that you would love to tell them right now who are watching you?
you know the, uh don't allow yourself to be bullied. Don't let anyone bully you. If because we women, young women are especially the most vulnerable. Even young men are very vulnerable. So I would say not just the women, but to men also, that if if you're asked to do something that's making you uncomfortable, if you've been asked to wear a certain dress that's making you uncomfortable, it's okay to raise your voice, it's okay to ask questions, it's okay to request for a change. Like those who understand, those who get it, they will get it, they will understand. Those who don't will probably call you a bitch or whatever, but who cares? You don't want to be working with people like that. You want to be working with people who matter, who will listen to you when you voice out your concerns. And as newcomers, when you're a newcomer, you just feel like you have to bow down to everything that's told to you. You just have to listen to anything that's told to you. But no, you you yes, you are desperate for work. Yes, you want to get work, but just because of that, do not sacrifice your dignity. That do not people will try to trample all over you. So you have to stand steadfast and strong. And this is an industry that breaks you, that tries to destroy you. So you have to hold on to positivity and hope, because that is what's going to drive you forward. You'll have days when you want to give up, when you think you are shit, and it's okay, just cry about it, but then next day get up and now continue working, because it's that you find that oof dip, then you'll get a nice big ad, then dip again, no money, shit, what do I do? But you just have to keep pressing forward. That's our life.
What I love about you, Merenla, is that you can just talk about something so, so dreadful, so beautifully in a fun way, and also give that word of advice. Was there a moment during your journey when, there was a total breakdown and you had to pull your shit together and be like, no, I cannot give up now. This is my moment. Do you remember any
I
experience?
don't. There have been lots of breakdowns. It's a common thing. Yeah, even with my friends, like, oh no, man, I'm like, I think I'm gonna give up acting. You just like we are all just having our little breakdowns, and then when someone has broken down, the other friends come together and lift this person up. Then someone will have a breakdown, then we all rush to lift this person up, which is why it's so important to have a core group of supportive friends. And in my case, I mean, I always tell women, like, you need to have strong female friendships, because I don't know. People love to believe that women love bitching about each other. That's the common theme that's put out, that women are women's greatest enemies. It's no, it's bullshit. Like, in my lowest times, it's my female friends who have lifted me, who have come running for me. Like, if if tomorrow I were to get in an accident at 3 o'clock in the morning, I know, like, I know three friends who will immediately rush. They will rush, they will scold me and ask me what the hell I was doing at 3 in the morning, but they will be doing that as they're giving their blood to me. Like, it's so important to have, like, strong female friendships. It's you need that support system, especially in a city like Bombay.
So that was Merenla giving advice to all the young aspiring actors out there who are wanting to enter the industry. Merenla, last question, and we'll close the conversation. If you have to go back in time and give advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Um, how young are we talking about?
I think 6 or 7 when you saw Rekha.
um,
Just pick
six or
any mo-
seven.
just pick any moment.
I mean, see, 6 or 7, my brain has still not developed yet. I'm only thinking about when I can go out and play, So I don't think giving advice at that time, the kind of advice I would give is like, study well, don't pick on your brother. Like, I would give that kind of advice. But I think the advice I would give would be the start of my career, when I made the decision to Mumbai, because that was a huge life change. Um, I would just tell myself that it is a bumpy ride ahead, and it's not going to be easy, but you just don't give up. You don't stop working, don't give up. And you hold on to your positivity, because that is something we need, positivity, to survive in this city. Because you can become very jaded and bitter after a while when you don't get what you want. You cannot let that cloud you. You cannot let that cloud your judgment, or let that become a part of your personality. Never. And be a good human being no matter what, because in 10 years you're going to be working with a fantastic actor called JD Pahlawat, and you will realize after looking at him and working with him, that it's not just important to be a good actor, but it's important to be a good human being. And you are going to be in a great show. No, I don't want to give spoilers to my younger self.
Yeah,
but
no spoilers.
but yeah, those spoilers. And I will also tell her that, and be kind to people, be kind to the young people who are coming after you, because in 10 years you will be working with a fantastic actress called Tillotama Shome, who will look out for you, treat you like a younger sister, and will give you elder sisterly advice that no one else would ever give you, and will guide you. So you want to be like these people too one day. So remember, start cultivating these qualities from now onward, because the reasons these two people are great actors and have made a huge impact on your life are, because they're at the core also they are wonderful human beings.
But I wanted to close the conversation, but what was interesting,
Okay.
what Tilotama told you. Any advice that you remember from her?
She was just, she's someone who is just so pro sisterhood, and there is just like, and she just said like, she sat down with me and she said, look, I have done this in my previous film promotions and all of that. Whenever there are women, they try to pit the women against each other, but we're not going to let that happen. Okay. She just came and said that to me. And she's just advised me. She's like, no, you can say no to this. You can put your foot down. If this happens, you put your foot down. Like, she. It's just, and also she was just very. She's also a very warm person. So she's cooked for me a lot and fed me a lot. and I'm not a good cook, but then when she was in Nagaland, my father is a great cook, so I gave her food that my father cooked, and she had like, I don't think she's ever going to forget that. She still keeps talking about my father's food.
So one
So
grounded
yeah, I mean, it's so important to meet
and yeah, yeah,
people who are like this,
yeah.
because everyone, because people are just thinking, oh, these are stars, and because people have asked me like, oh, how is JD Bhagawat, the star, and I'm just like, he is such a wonderful human being. That's the first thing that comes to my head. That what an amazing person he is. When people ask me, how's Tillotama Shome, and that's the thing I said. Oh, she's so warm as a person. She has this protective vibe about her, like telling me that you shouldn't do work for money that's not paying you. Don't do work if your heart says no. These important things she told me, and I really appreciate that.
That's a big takeaway. But Merenla, I have to
Yeah,
tell you that the first time when I met you, I think you yourself are such a warm person that you can make friends with anyone on the go, and people would just love to be under your shadow. So it was a pleasure that I met
it's
you.
also because I'm very talkative. I'll just go and talk
You
to
are.
anyone possible.
And we could go on and on, but
Yes.
we have to wait for another time. And
Okay,
I'm
for
really,
sure.
really wishing you luck for your upcoming projects and hope to see you in
Thank you.
more web series
Yeah, hope to see you too.
on the big screen. So wish you luck, Merenla.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me in this conversation.
Thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. And thank you, viewers, for watching our special show. If you liked the video, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, The Indian Express. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Merenla.
Okay, bye.
Bye.